Uncontrollable forces govern nature. Man, shaping many of them, has created advanced technology, fostering innovation. This is the story of a revolutionary technology, an idea that has redefined the landscape of oral surgery. We are the pioneers of this innovative process, guided by a bold vision. Zero bone subtraction, cold and minimally invasive surgery, sinus lift, extractions, split crest, guided surgery, horizontal expansion, implant preparation, pin fixation system. The magnetodynamic impulse through the magnetic mallet enables us to achieve all of this, and it has been proven that the use of this technology brings numerous benefits to the patient. (5,000 G of acceleration concentrated in 1 millimeter. Total control, unprecedented precision. The magnetic mallet is not just a device, it is the new status quo. Welcome to the future of oral surgery.
Good evening, everybody. Welcome. Thank you for joining us on this beautiful Monday evening. We're coming to you live. I'm coming to you live from Cape Town, South Africa. And then we've got people from all over Southern Africa, South Africa, Namibia, Botswana, Zimbabwe, and even Italy. So ladies and gentlemen, it is my pleasure to introduce for the first time to the South African audience, the co-founder and CEO of Osseotouch. It's one of our new brands that we have on board at SciVision Medical, and something very, very exciting. So we're proud to present this to you tonight. Peter will tell you more about it. Some of you have had the chance to demo it. Some of you are already using it. So we can even hear from you guys tonight. But Manuel Scali, the man of the moment, he comes with a lot of contagious enthusiasm for the grandeur of using magnetic dynamic technology in oral surgery. But seeing is believing, so he's going to show us. To tell you a little bit more about him, he actually comes with a law degree and a master's degree in communication, so that's why it's always fun to listen to you, Manuel. Thank you for taking time out to address especially the South African audience tonight exclusively. And we encourage everybody to pour a glass of wine.
I'm here with my glass of wine, so I'm ready for everything.
Somebody bring me.
I like my words. Okay.
You also know, of course, Peter Doubell. He's also part of the reason we get this exciting technology to you. Peter, maybe you want to tell the South African audience about how we got this.
Yes, good evening, everybody. Thank you for joining us. Thank you, Manuel. It's good to have you again back on the airwaves. And I must just give some credit to Dr. Modi Mabunda. He was one of the doctors in South Africa that had seen this technology somewhere from an international congress. And he said, Peter, would you guys please look at this? He would like to get it and get it in South Africa. He thinks it'll be of great value, and which we did. So, and we haven't really got fully going with this technology yet. We're looking very much forward to next Friday when we're having the sort of first hands-on course. And we've got some of our pioneers in South Africa that have already bought the technology and started using it, that will hopefully become some of our local trainers as well, so that when people buy this technology in future, we will have more and more courses with some of our local dentists that are from various regions of South Africa. So that's quite exciting. And just for a bit of background, Manuel, I've been in this industry at least 30 years. My background is civil engineering. So I've seen a lot of things come and go in dentistry, and we've been instrumental in introducing laser technology to South Africa. We're very involved with CT technology and training. So we've also had, been involved with implants in the past, implant motors, and piezo surge technology. So when I saw the magnetic mallet, I was a little bit hesitant. I was like, well, what is this thing going to do now? And we've already got piezo, we've already got, and I think our previous discussion a few months ago, I was still a bit hesitant, but when you started explaining it, I became so excited, and I started all of a sudden understanding the benefits of this technology, and it was like the lights came on. And even with my knowledge of the dental industry for many 3 decades now, and the engineering background, and all of a sudden I thought, wow, now I see the benefits of the technology, bring in all the things I know about lasers as well, and how we can bring lasers into it and the benefits of CBCT. So I must say we're really excited about this technology and the benefits it brings to surgery, and the safety features that it brings, especially things about preserving bone and not damaging nerve structures and all those kinds of things. So without any further discussion about that, I'd like to hand over to you, as we really look forward to just giving us in the local doctor much more information. So I think for the rest of us too, I'll mute my mic if I need to ask something, and the rest of us mute our microphones as well, and we'll sit back and enjoy you. If you have any questions, please just post them. They must be in the chat, and then we'll answer them. But we'll now hand over to you, Manuel. Thank you very much.
Oh, thank you to everyone to stay here with me. I'm very excited, and thank you for this amazing introduction. So I just want to talk about this type of dream, because right now magnetodynamic technology is like a dream came true. Obviously, I try to explain the different approach of the magnetodynamic technology comparison to the other technology mentioned before, as a piezo, is laser. There is a lot of things work in the studio, and a lot of things work in the paper, but obviously there is time by time advantage of the new technology. Everyone right now go in the direction of the mini invasive surgery. So when I see, or my engineer, this type of technology for the first time, I believe in this technology because obviously it don't work just in oral surgery. Just Tuesday, okay, I talked with a very important, one of the big one of the orthopedic factory, and use right now and have this big project for magnetodynamic technology in other fields. So everything growing and growing. But why? Because it's simple, because it's cold, because it's hyper conservative. It's just my point of view. But if you understand, last years there is just 8 different paper in like a materialize, like J. Perio, a lot of paper, and in this paper, every paper says the same thing. Okay, there is a new revolution in this type of field, in oral surgery. I want to just share my screen for see exactly what I mean. I like to say is like a Colombo X, because start with the normal osteotomes, okay? The osteotomes obviously have a problem with every patient, because every time you give an impulse with the hand, with the hammer, and a lot of people don't use right now the osteotomes. But why is the Colombo X the magnetodynamic technology? Because it's power, is faster, okay, and don't arrive the movement. Okay, it's difficult to understand for the first kiss. When you see the first time, you say it's difficult to understand what it is. It's just something like pneumatic. No, absolutely. Magnetodynamic technology is like 2 magnets, okay, smash inside this type of handpiece with electricity. It gives this acceleration. So this one is the G-force. Is more than 1 gunshot. Oh, okay, well, listen, you're talking about 1 gunshot in the mouth. No, it's just 1 millimeters. So it's too faster for the movement. This is the only trick of the magnetodynamic technology, just this. But this dramatically changed everything. Because if it's possible, push 500 kilograms in 1 millimeter without the wave of the movement, I change everything. Because this type of impulse is completely cold. I don't have the risk of the overheating. And like Salama said, okay, you have the only machine for the bone shaping. So for modeling the bone. And this is change everything. Because imagine if you don't use the drills, the burns. The burns obviously work in another way. So you take the bone, put it out, and create the space for something like implant, for example. In this case, you give condensation, but it's not just condensation, but it's movimentation, the movement of the bone. So I tried with this first engineer so if the name is Mario, if I say Mario, I want to understand exactly what's happened because it's difficult for me to understand. Okay, try to take a normal hammer, Osseotouch and hammer, put one strike, and I show you, and this is for University of Milano, this is the violet, the violet line, okay, how many seconds and how many kilograms you put in your hand. It's around 40 kilograms, and the shot is around 3 seconds. If you use 3 seconds, okay, so 3 seconds for the hammer, okay, and you arrive to 40 kilograms, if it's very soft, you have the chance to move or give condensation to the soft bone, to the spongeous bone. In this case, is another things. 1 second or less than 1 second in 260 or more kilograms for each millimeters, because the range is just 1 millimeter. Step by step is one shot, 1 millimeter. So you have the total control. Oh, damn, it's completely different, this one, because I don't have the wave of the movement. I don't have the fear of the edema. But the possible of how many applications is possible to do with this type of new technology. And step by step, obviously, with a lot of clinicians, like everyone, try to do one thing, another thing. I have this advantage, and day by day increase everything. For example, the more easy things, or maybe the first step for the learning curve, because everything have a little learning curve. But if you use the osteotomy is the past, obviously this is one immediate instrument in the hand, like the old one. So osteotomes and extractor or syndesmotomes. It's possible too, but how it works? Try to see this video.
The magnetic mallet is an innovative device created specifically for oral and implant surgery. It is used for multiple applications in dentistry and is extremely efficient as well as exceptionally safe. Let's see how it works for extractions. The extraction kit contains 10 instruments that have been designed to treat all types of extractions, including third molars. These instruments do not wear out and therefore do not have to be replaced. In this surgical video and rendering, we show you how an ankylosed root is extracted in a short period of time with outstanding results. The 5000 G-force of acceleration provided by the handpiece allows for straightforward insertion and an almost imperceptible impact for the patient, making the procedure a comfortable and quick experience. In addition, the speed ensures that it does not generate any heat on the bone. The shape of the blade has been developed to easily slide between the root and the bone, which perfectly conserves the tissues while detaching the root. The handpiece is easy to direct at the necessary angulation, ensuring that the buccal plate remains untouched and the root is not exposed to the risk of fracture. Soft tissues and bone are saved, while the perfectly preserved root is effortlessly extracted. Technology for minimally invasive surgery has moved forward. Magnetic mallet. Try it.
So, it's just one extraction. The people say to me, yes, it's just one extraction. But imagine if you have one tools, and don't matter if it's ankylotic tooth or a normal tooth. Magnetic mallet device don't broken the wall, because just use the deformation, the elastic deformation of the bone. Don't cut. Obviously, it's not possible cut in the middle, for example, the teeth, because obviously create the space. Create the space with the condensation. So you have all the time for put it out the teeth. It's very natural, but you don't use your muscle. You use just 1 millimeter and 1 millimeter. I showed it another video just for understand the way. Imagine like this. One burns for do this type of separation of the root and the simple extraction. Every time you see the lamina dura, every time, because I just open. When I do this type of presentation, NIU University have magnetic mallet for do the extraction right now. Because it's part of the scholarization of the new way for do the extraction. And every time you do this, it is so simple. It's so simple. It's cold. You don't use the burns. Obviously, for the biological point of view, it's the maximum. It's the best you can do. You don't wash nothing. You don't need washing because you don't need control the heating or the overheating. Extraction. You just go vestibular, okay? Never, but you palatal or mesiodistal, okay? And control just the millimeters. If you have a strong bone or a spongeous bone, don't matter. In the extraction, work upper jaw, low jaw without problem. There is instruments. I don't want to talk a lot about the instruments because obviously there is a set for the extraction for other things like a split crest or implant preparation, a lot. But the better thing is understand exactly how it's safe, this type of technology. Condensation and site preparation. The site preparation is full of blood. It's very easy. Change the axis, for example, of the insertion of the implants, if you want to do. Oh, imagine for do the elevation of the sinus floor, 1 millimeter each shot. There is different color because some instruments is coating with DLC. DLC is a little bit more smooth, so it's more easy use this type of instruments, but I explain a little bit later. And the preparation or the elevation. You see, every time, obviously, it's possible do for the, not the lateral approach, but this is 100% crestal approach for the elevation of the sinus floor. There is a protocol. 2 or 3 millimeters of basal bone for the elevation. This is exactly the dimension you needed, the vertical space you needed for the elevation. The design obviously is a little bit different because you need to push up the bone and don't condense a lot for the design of the osteotomes are more vertical, okay, and concave, like the normal summer technique. But the summer technique, I think a lot of people work right now with the summer technique. This is just the evolution. You just check 1 millimeter each time. Always work. The kit of the drill don't work. Yes, work, but it's not bone loss zero like this. Is not like zero overeating like this. The operatory field is full of blood and water. You don't need water. It's completely another way to think the surgery. And the control. Obviously, today and last week, I talked with orthopedic. Orthopedic work with big osteotomes, work with a very strong impulse, but in the teen space, is better the control of magnetic mallet because it's force and direction. Elevation is the sinus floor is so natural to do it. Look at that. Post-extraction implant. You know, in Italy, more or less, the average of the magnetic mallet in the market is around 25% right now. So 25% of the dentists use magnetic mallet for the extraction, for the elevation, for the implant preparation. And this is the last 5 years, okay? And you know, especially in Italy, start with immediately with post-extraction implants. But if I'm very conservative during the extraction, I have more bone for do the immediately implant. So it's exactly the thing magnetic mallet do. Extraction, and you see the extraction. So the vestibular part is perfect. And the implant preparation. You know, and Baldi say and do one for me incredible study about the whole of the drill. The whole of the drill is never the dimension of the drill because there is movement around the drill. In this case, is exactly the dimension of the osteotomes. So it's more accurate, it's more precise. You see this, and you see of the same, the soft tissue, the damage of the soft tissue. Again, implant, prosthetic, obviously, in this case, less is more. If you don't cut the gum and you give just a 3 or 4, because you need just maybe 3 or 4 shots. If you do 3 or 4 millimeters in the bone. So at the end, speed, versatility, directionality, visibility, zero drill, accuracy. There is a lot of, this is the golden point, is the Bible of the magnetodynamic technology, because it's certificate. This, in this case, work. Obviously, it's not possible working just with the magnetodynamic. Why? And the people ask me every time, okay, but maybe canine to canine in the low jaw, I have a very mineral bone. Okay, don't use the magnetodynamic, use the drills. If it's very, very mineral, okay, it's very, very dense, it's D1, okay, you don't need magnetodynamic technology because it's difficult to do the shaping of the bone if you don't have spongeous bone. There is a trick, obviously. Maybe Baldi say during the course, okay, you have 2 millimeters, 2 millimeters and half of the cortical bone you remove and after use the mallet. But this is another story. For the first time you have the mallet, it's possible work, obviously, every time for the extraction, up and low, and for the condensation, every time. Okay, maybe in this part is a little more difficult sometimes, or maybe you need some trick. Okay, I'm the first time, this is Professor Crespi for University of Milano. The first time I see this, okay, oh, thank you. I'm falling in love completely with this type of imaging, because it's just with two osteotomes is the bone preparation. Obviously, for the first, the imaging, okay, I see it's just one hole. It's possible to place the implants. Maybe yes, I place a narrow implant, but I don't have a protection. I don't have the vestibular protection. Everyone read the paper and know for the vestibular part, the resorbing is every time a problem. In this case, if I go down with the osteotomes, I create more bone in the vestibular area. So I have more protection. And maybe it's possible to do something better. Yes, you want to place more bone, other things, membrane. Okay, it's possible. But in this case, is the best solution with just two osteotomes and 3 minutes. Publication. My presentation start publication. There is everything, but is for my mindset. So start for one and go to another. So please see in the website all the publication, but especially the new publication about the magnetodynamic technology, because there is a lot of risk you don't have if you use this type of technology. Now the people talking about more or less, because I understand why, but the people talking about implants. How is possible place the implants? Or possible do the elevation of the sinus floor force place in the safe way the implants? So I try to work with a lot of university, but in this case, the last big one research is this one. So, and I work with Baldi, Schiarano, and 3 different departments in the University of Torino, because I want to understand exactly how happened in the bone, and give me the comparison between the drill preparation and the osteotome preparation with the magnetic mallet, because I want to believe in deep how it's possible to do. And on the hand, the advantage, because magnetic mallet is not just the impulse, but I want to know what's happened for the bio point of view, because the biology change everything. The machine is just a machine, but if I change a little bit the biology, and if it's possible, stay more safe for one dentist, one orthopedics, one vet, okay, I change my point of view in my technology. And this is fortunately happened. So first one, maybe the more easy, I want to understand the new format, so the new bone in the area. See, drill and mallet, but these results is easy for me. I work, is 10 years, more or less, I work and I see the magnetodynamic, obviously, before going the market for the study, this and that. But obviously, because I don't remove the bone, if I don't remove the bone, maybe it's more easy because the macrophage don't work. And this is work. But I like more this, the number of the osteoblasts, and more the fiber tissue area, because the problem of everyone right now is the tsunami of the perimplantitis. And this is a serious problem. Every perio I talk all around the world talking about, okay, but there is a lot of problematic, a lot of issue, a lot of there is a lot of things for the problem of the perimplantitis. But for sure, if the fiber is more fast than the bone, I don't have the integration. And this is clear for everyone. So it's possible, say, if I place with this type of technology and osteotomes, because the osteotomes are completely cold, I don't have the problem of this fast fiber tissue. So it's less my problem of the perimplantitis. It's super logical, and it's not just me, but this paper is possible is materials, I think the paper. So it's possible to read to everyone, and more, obviously, I have for a lot of advantage and protein, because the studio is very long and long. It's 3 years, but I like, because it's like a milestone. Is real. I touch what I say to the people. I touch is reality. So at the end, the magnetic mallet improved the bone quality. And for my point of view, is obviously, because if I do the right condensation to the bone, and in US, for example, a lot of people say, okay, but I do, for example, for the improve the bone quality with drills, with Versa, for example. Yes, you do the same for the condensation, but it's a drill, you have the same problem, and the condensation is different if it's because you cut with the bone chips, you do the condensation. In this case, no. And for the spongeous bone, when you give another, so you improve, you change the dimension, okay? You place the implant. When you remove the osteotomes, obviously the breadth of the spongeous bone. So try to return to the normal space. So change, enlarge, and come back. It's this incredible, especially for check the first healing. These osteotomes arrived 2 years ago because everyone used the mallet for this type of condensation and the implant placement. When the people have the manuality, try to use every day the mallet, because at the end, this type of tools is not like a piezo, for example. Last years in Italy, Osseotouch is the company, because Osseotouch sell directly in Italy and sell 300% more than piezo. But why? Because it's the new kid in town. So it's the people say it's different. So it's very attractive for the people. But when try to use, I have every time here the mallet for the extraction, because everyone do extraction every day. So you use extraction, elevation, condensation, and this type of condensation try to have a osteotomes with DLC, with all the measurement. I have everything for the customer for check the preparation in comparison for the fixture. So because there is some fixture with a different shape. And on the left, this with the eyes is the first, because I talking with the American doctor, do a lot of implants, pterygoid implants like this, have a problem to, during the implant placement, give another direction. So I give this type of sword for give the first millimeters of preparation. Implant placement is super easy. The shot is 1 millimeter. So it's black, black, gray, gray, black, every single shot. It's the bone and the implant. Day by day, the people ask, like the summer technique, some osteotomes with the stops. But when I'm talking about osteotomes and stop, I talk about, if you see, this one is completely taper, okay? Because I need the condensation for place the implants. But I don't want the condensation when I push my bone upper into sinus. So I need to have 2 to 3, Stucky in the last book say is 3 millimeters, the middle of the duodenal elevation, okay? Try with 2, 3 millimeters of basal bone and do this type of elevation. You start to 1 millimeters with the stop, 2 millimeters, 3 millimeters. It's possible increase 3 times the basal bone. If you have 3 millimeters, it's 9 millimeters in the sinus, if you need it. I like to explain, but listen, if everyone wants to see some video, my company create a YouTube channel. It's full of video, it's full of educational for doctor starting Japan to South America to US, and maybe I hope another one from South Africa, because it's part of the credibility is my proud to see in every single corner in the world is this type of technology helped me in my studio. It has changed dramatically every time my vision of my company. So how is work? Okay, a little video. Okay, this is the insertion of the elevate. Okay, and this is the dimension. With the stop is 4 millimeters. Okay, you use 100% of your bone. You give just another direction. Okay, it's so simple, and obviously you have a protocol, you have video, you have everything you needed. You just go in contact with the membrane, but never touch the membrane. It's completely flat and concave a little bit. And the story is every time the same. 0 bone subtraction, don't generate heat. You see everything. I think more or less all of you do the elevation of the sinus. I tried to do this in one hospital in Cuba with the much younger dentist I see in my life, and do for the first time the elevation is really simple. Okay, 2 to 7 millimeters. Okay, CVCT, check the RX. Okay, the approach is okay. This osteotomes with the stops, and the second one, the elevate 2, and this is exactly the measurement of every single osteotomes. Okay, so it's possible to check the diameters for every millimeters, because if you want to, for example, place immediately the implants, you need to know exactly the diameters, just for have the right fitting and the right stabilization of the fixture. It's so natural and biological, this type of technology. It's the same, start of 5 millimeters and do the same. Biomaterials or no biomaterials, depends. how many is the gap between the elevation, okay, at the bone. But Baldi is a really a super pro about the elevation of the sinus. Stitches and more. For example, talking about Baldi, this one, the name is Genova, is one instrument for the splitting crest. A lot of people stay in trouble with the splitting crest with the normal hammer and the normal instruments. And every time I talk with this type of people, say, okay, it's a risk because sometimes I have the problem. I don't want to break the vestibular part because it's so mineral. And this time, sometime happen. Okay, I try to give some hand for do something better and work with university, and in this case with Baldi, for try to do something new for the splitting crest and something more easy for the expansion. One for divide, because it's not cutting, but come into the bone and divide the bone. So, and the cut, okay. In this case, you open a little bit, okay, but it is absolutely more soft. You do everything with one hand, so you check with your hand the vestibular part. So is very soft, this type of surgery. And more, okay, for do the expansion, but try exactly in the middle of the extraction with, for example, this 200 is the dimension of the tips. Or other things, for example, there is a popular doctor in France talking about, okay, I use a lot of membrane. I have magnetic mallet. I use every day. I have some electric hammer, but I want to do the same thing with the magnetodynamic technology. Yes, it's possible. I mentioned before, there is 1 millimeter is the shot. It's possible place the pin. You have just 1 millimeter, 1, 2 shot, and put it out, and you have the pin fixation without movement, because it's just like a pen. 2 shot and or more heavy surgery. Right now, the next challenge is used with the pterygoid implants, because for the anatomy of this type of bone, obviously, when you arrive to the last part or the first part, you have the cortical, spongious bone, and very hard cortical in the pyramid here. So in this case, is super easy because is really narrow, the tips, and you do the better thing. So you don't put it out bone, but you give the conservation of all the area. And it's better use with one hand, one pen, or one electric drills. You have the full control. There is a kit. Every single type of surgery, there is the chance to have a kit. So for don't have mistake, extraction, there is a kit for extraction, protocol for the extraction. But day by day, believe me, just this thing I say, believe me, is truly without a lot of expertise, because you do immediately and you understand in 1 week the pressure, you understand exactly the condensation, you feel exactly the type of bone, okay, you meet during the surgery. So don't talk about, okay, but I want to understand how many time I need, how many is long this type of learning curve. Because obviously, if it's first you start for the pterygoidal implants, obviously it's something more not difficult, because it's not difficult, but you need a little bit more of expertise. But if you try step by step extraction, implant placement, condensation, splitting crest, elevation of the sinus, or elevation of the sinus extraction, this is a surgery very, if I imagine one surgery with the magnetic mallet, I imagine something very fast, okay, and without blood, without, no, not without blood, but with less blood than the normal surgery, and with a accurate and control, and you simplify your surgery. Okay. It's possible guide of the same with the little guide for the osteotomes, or do this type of implants. And obviously this is the shape of implants, and during the measurement it's possible arrive to the right fixture, no? Or maybe I have one fixture, I want to know exactly the protocol. This is part of the work Osseotouch do for you. So it's possible to check exactly how place the implants, and it's super easy. Give another direction, because it's a punch, it's not a drill. The drills work exactly and come back in the space you don't have bone, because obviously there is less force. So try to arrive in the same direction of the alveolar. In this case, you give a little direction, a palatal direction, in the easy way. Post extraction implant, extraction, super conservative. Imagine it's better than me. Implants. You see the soft tissue is pink every time. Another next step, the people want to do this type of procedures, but with the dynamic guided kit. It's possible to do, yes. I work on that for work with these things. Sorry. So is the first one in the world to work with the osteotomes and the digital planning, but it's possible to use every time? Yes or no? But one of the big problem when I talk with the people use every time, the guided surgery say, okay, I don't know if the water arrive in the hand of my burns. And this is true, never arrive. It's a problem of overeating. And sometimes you need to do a little bit of compression, especially in the upper jaw. In this case, it's possible mix the two things or use just osteotomes. Okay, I repeat, just the application is extraction, sinus lift, guided surgery, pin fixation, and crown remover. If I have 260 kilograms for 1 millimeter and I push, it's possible you have another impulse, is a crown remover. And obviously with 270 kilograms, you remove every crown for sure. Implant site preparation, osteocondensation, this and that. Obviously, I just maybe boring you with this 50 minutes, okay? But I try to give some curiosity about this type of technology. Not because this technology right now growing all around the world. And believe me, the problem of this type of technology is my company. Because I don't want to sell to the big one, okay? But I believe with the educational, okay, it's possible arrive with a different point of view. Different point of view is for the bio point of view, because it's better, and for the risk of the patient. For example, wisdom teeth. My wife removed wisdom teeth with my friend doctors, okay, in 5 minutes without edema. This is work every day. And for Marquesanis from Chile, and for Spain, the Marias from Italy, there is a lot of clinical case of splitting crest, expansion, everything. So if you want to go and YouTube channel, the name is Osseotouch, you see a lot of this type of case, and or maybe some protocol in the website, because in the website you have the publication, and every single step is possible to do when you buy the mallet, okay? Because it's not possible. It's possible to arrive with a machine all around the world, but I need to come all around the world with the educational. Like Peter said before, the educational is one of the better things. So obviously invest a lot of money in the new hall for the courses. And I love it, because the only thing for build together something new is give educational to everyone and stay in the same parts of the table. So this is the space for the quest. Oh, there is a lot of think, or maybe animated video. Okay, thank you to everyone. Question and answer. If you have some question, I'm here.
Yes. Thank you very much, Manuel. Got quite a few of our doctors online, and I see Dr. Porchetta there too. It's nice to see him from Somerset, and I know you're going to be using your new microscope soon, Dr. Porchetta. Congratulations. Obviously, the last many years we've done a lot of education. A lot of it, I love your talk about biology, because especially obviously where the lasers have come in a lot, and we've tried to bring that education in where, you know, we are obviously, you know, trying to be as minimally invasive as possible. And I think that what you mentioned too about periimplantitis, we're finding a lot of that as well. We're getting more and more calls from doctors, maxillofacial surgeons, and even periodontists and general practitioners saying, can you bring your lasers to us, because we've got some serious cases of periimplantitis we need to treat, you know. So, and I've had some discussions with some of our local periodontists as well, and most of the courses I go to, even our periodontists are speaking about implants, and very few of them are speaking about saving the natural tooth, you know. So, for example, like Dr. Brian Sherwood asked, just to make a few comments, is he may be not doing too many implants because he's got all the laser technology, the CBCT, the microscope. So he's saving a lot of teeth that maybe many dentists would extract and put implants in. And he's also having higher success rate of, for example, endodontic treatment, you know. So while we're always looking to preserve the natural tooth as much as possible, and with technology like lasers, etc., there will always be obviously more doctors and general practitioners, whether they're specialists, maxillofacial surgeons or periodontists, that are doing implants and sinus lifts. So that's why I really like this technology, because I think the complications which we're having, especially with overheating bone and the problems with irrigation, you know, getting down to that implant site and cooling, keeping the bone cool is always a problem. And I just want to maybe Dr. Sher would just come on if you're unmuted, because some of our doctors maybe have been cautious about getting into implants because they know possibly the failure rate of implants, particularly from one of the stats I heard, implants over 10 years, that have been in the mouth for over 10 years. The failure rate at a course I was in Canada a few years ago was as high as 48%. So I think it is important that we definitely look at technology that creates a safer environment for placing an implant. You know, so Brian, maybe just give any comments that you thought of.
I don't have a lot of experience. I don't have any experience with this, with the magnetic mallet, but except for the fact that my son recently went for osteotomies, and they used that to split the mandible. And it was a much safer, more predictable operation, and the confidence that the surgeon used it's much more predictable, and without having the risk of damaging a nerve, which was a very comforting thought when your son's in the theater, because we take it for granted. But I was very pleased and at that part of it. I don't have much. I don't do a lot of implants, but yes, my is more of the lasers. I don't have a lot of comment on the magnetic yet, but it's sounding very interesting. Possibly enticing me a little bit here.
Yeah, thank you, Ryan. But the question is exactly the Colombo hex. No, the problem is every time new technology change everything. But sometimes look at the past. Okay, the osteotomes. It's a good thing, the osteotomes. It's just the problem of the osteotomes, obviously, is the force of the hand and the control. But if I have a technology, give the control in 1 millimeter, and you have the chance to have more force, and you have the total control of this, is exactly what they do in the past, but just help you with a new technology. So exactly what I say, you said is the control is completely different. The confidence is different.
So Manuel, on that 1 millimeter factor, there's 4 levels you can choose on the device.
Yeah.
So when you say 1 millimeter, are you then on setting 1?
No, every time is 1 millimeter. Okay, every time is one single shot. But the force, so the kilograms, okay, change, because sometimes you don't need 300 kilograms, because 300 kilograms you use just the power for the ankylosing teeth, okay, because you need you have the calcium bridge, so you have to broken this type of calcium bridge, you just a little big stronger. But if you place the implant, you do the preparation in the normal, like a D2 or D3 bone, you need to set to power 2. But every time the shot is just 1 millimeter. So go deeper for 1 millimeter and come back. Every time you one shot, impulse, one shot and come back. So you have the control. Some doctor want, okay, I want to do the elevation of the sinus floor, want it like a gunshot. No, you have just 1 and 1 for have the right, and you give exactly the time for the expansion to the bone, because it's blood and bone. And you give this type of expansion is 1 millimeter. So one shot is 1 millimeter, and every single shot is 1 millimeter.
So there is a question or two here. After extraction, how do you clean the infection or perio ligament from the socket before using osteotomes?
Talking about infection.
After extraction. So
yeah,
I know if you had a water laser, well, I know we would put that down there, hey, Brian?
Yeah, definitely.
Mm-hmm. No, but I have a study with the laser, for example, for this type of problem. Obviously, the magnetic dynamic just put it out the teeth, okay? But obviously, if you have some problem, okay, you need to solve with other solution like laser.
Okay, so I'm not too sure if that answers the question. Let me just double check that question.
The question, I think, related to the residual periodontal ligament that was maybe left in the socket. Do you manually excavate that, or how do you take
absolutely that? Manually.
Yeah, I think that was where the question was going.
Yeah. Okay. Okay. So we're very much looking forward to. So if you haven't booked yet, I think there are still spaces in Johannesburg course and as well as Cape Town. We are trying to keep it a little bit limited because obviously we want to have a bit of a hands-on component to it as well. And, having a big group would not make that really possible. So we are looking forward to that.
I want to talk about 1 second about Domenico Baldi, because Domenico Baldi in the past is the president of the Academy, okay, of piezo surgery. Okay, and obviously my approach with Domenico is very difficult because is the president, okay, of another machine, but it's super easy and super clever because you give me the point, and if it's work with your point, I'm your KOL. It's 2 minutes, because sincerely speaking, is very enthusiastic, the approach, and is a super surgeon. So right now speak all around the world about magnetodynamic technology or implants, and is a professor in Genova, but I don't know how many days stay in Italy because is every time is in a trip, but is a good man and is a super surgeon. So is the type of professor have the emphasis of the education. So give the mobile phone of, hey, if you do that, if you want to, is for the relationship is the number one. And I like this man because helped me a lot for the not just for the paper, but obviously for a lot of idea. With Domenico, it's very difficult because is the president of another machine, but it's super easy and super clever because you give me the point, and if it's work with your point, I'm your KOL. It's 2 minutes, because sincerely speaking, is very enthusiastic, the approach, and is a super surgeon. So right now speak all around the world about magnetodynamic technology or implants, and is a professor in Genova, but I don't know how many days stay in Italy because is every time is in a trip, but is a good man and is a super surgeon. So is the type of professor have the emphasis of the education. So give the mobile phone of, hey, if you do that, if you want to, is for the relationship is the number one. And I like this man because helped me a lot for the not just for the paper, but obviously for a lot of idea.
All I want to say is, Philip Johnson, our maxillofacial surgeon in Cape Town, he apologized. He wanted to be here tonight, but he was in a late emergency, called in. But he said to the mallet, he's never seen a machine like this in his life before. And Brian previously mentioned that Brian's son was treated by him. And he said what he's never seen before, if he splits an osteotomy on both sides and he can actually split the jaw, he's never seen healing that fast. And even with the stump edge, you can actually move that alveolar nerve, and actually not even a fear of actually damaging that. It's like just moving the nerve to the one side. So for that regards, the healing time, as he clearly said, and the afterwards was quite phenomenal. Yeah. He's not afraid as more going in as he was before, but he will be presenting some of his cases at the hands-on course.
Thank you very much, everybody. Once again, we're just always excited to keep learning, and the industry is actually so excited with this new technology and how we can help patients and make things less traumatic and preserve bone and save more teeth. So I think that's, at the end of the day, our goal, and to have fun while we're doing it and to meet wonderful, interesting people from all over the world. Manuel, we look forward to you visiting South Africa soon.
Thank you so much to everyone. I think a big effort in this direction, because I know for sure, because this is what happened to me. I have a lot of friends, a lot of customers, a lot of them call me and say, you insist with me for buy these things. It's amazing. And it's the first time in my life this happened. So I think work.
Yeah, no, it's very rewarding when you have technology that really adds value to people's lives and to the doctors that use them and to their patients. It's the most rewarding thing that we can have, and just to see everybody learn and grow together, we really appreciate it. And yeah, we just thank the Lord that we can have all these things. Yeah. Good evening, everybody. And
Good evening.
Thank you, Manuel.
Okay.
And
Ciao.
all the videos are on YouTube, Osseotouch. Just type in Osseotouch and you'll see it all. And to book for the course, SciVisionMedical.com/events. Thank you. Good night.
Thank you.
Okay. Good night to everyone.
Yes.